beautiful. No one ugly allowed. Are you ready? Here we go. Fashion is the art. Designers are the gods. Models play the part of angels in the dark. Which one of you would ever dare to go against that beauty is a trade and everyone is paid? Fashionista. How do you look? Fashionista. How do you look? New York, London, Paris, Milan, Tokyo. I think it's in Japan. Asia, Malaysia, Las Vegas to play. LA, if you pay my way. Fashionista. How do you look? Fashionista. How do you look? Fashionista. How do you look? Fashionista.
She's got it all. A symbol of excellence. She's got it all. She's got it all. All the elements, a symbol of excellence. Shining, she is so flawless, incredible illusionist. Miss Gay America. Miss Gay America. The best of the best. She is beauty, she is grace. Perfect in every way. This gay America.
Good evening, everyone. It is me, Miss Morgan, your reigning Miss Gay Pennsylvania America 2023. I'm so excited for tonight. This is the first of 4 installments of Let's Get Down to Excellence with the contestants this year. This is everyone's opportunity to get to know a little bit about all of our contestants that are going to be competing for the Miss Gay Pennsylvania America crown this year for 2024. But before we get into that, I just want to do a couple little highlights of what's going on with Pennsylvania this year. First and foremost, the Miss Gay Pennsylvania America pageant is going to be held at Sunnybrook Ballroom on November 16th. So make sure you get your tickets now on Miss Gay Pennsylvania America.com. And you know what? Since I'm even saying that right now, let me just give you a little reminder because it's going to be scrolling at the bottom during this whole feed tonight. Also, the night before, if you want to come show your support and love, we have the Formers Review Show at Rivet in Pottstown as well, which is going to have all the fabulous Miss Gay Pennsylvania America formers performing and just showing the love and support for the contestants. Also that night is when we're going to be doing the contestants drawing, so you're not going to want to miss that fun. You can also get tickets for that on, guess where? MissGayPennsylvaniaAmerica.com. But tonight is the night that we are going to really open up the doors for the first 4 contestants to answer questions, to give them a little bit more of the ins and outs of each category, as well as just get really amped up and excited for this fabulous event. Now, if you haven't done it already, please make sure you go on and hit share, because the more people we bring in, the more people we will get to love and support the Miss Gay America pageant system. But without further ado, because I know we have a lot to talk about, I want to bring all the 4 contestants in that we're going to be talking to tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring each contestant in one by one, and this way they can say hello to all of you. So without further ado, the first contestant that we're going to bring this evening is Miss Katrina Escalarza, who is your reigning Miss Gay New Hope America 2024. Hello, Angel. How are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing great. How are you, Morgan?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I'm excited to see you this evening. Congratulations on your win as well as Miss Gay
Thank you.
New Hope.
Thank you.
Did you want to say hi to everybody?
Absolutely. So I wanted to first say my given name. My given name's Tim Schaefer. I've been doing drag now for about 17 plus years. It's a little longer than I thought I would ever start out, but I've met amazing, great people along the way. And most of you are joining us on this chat today, and you're going to hear even more about what Miss Gay Pennsylvania is about.
So I love that. Thank you so much. I adore you, and I'm so excited to dive in with you a little bit more this evening. Next up, we have the first alternate for Miss Gay New Hope as well. Her name is Miss Jayla Rosemore. Hello, Jayla.
Hey!
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. I'm just here.
Living the life. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It means the world to me to share this experience with you as well. Did you just want to say hi to the viewers out there?
Well, yeah. Hi, everybody. How are y'all? Wonderful weather. Yeah, that's it.
I live. Why don't you tell everybody what you did today?
Work.
Well, what do you do for a living?
Oh, I work in hospitality. I work as a front desk agent. So I'm basically a therapist, CPR, basically everything.
Well, I love that. An entrepreneur of it all. I love that. Well, thank you again for joining us. Up next, we have Zia Maravilla, who is the first alternate to Miss Gay Philadelphia America 2024. Hello, Angel. How are you?
Hello. Good. How are you, Morgan?
Good. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's an honor and a
Oh,
pleasure. I'm so excited to have you
the honor
here.
is all mine.
Oh, stop. Okay. No, just kidding. Why don't you say hi to all the viewers out there and just give them a little bit about you?
Hello, everyone. I am contestant number 3 tonight. I am no, I'm kidding. Not yet. Not yet. Hi, I'm Siomara. It is so wonderful meeting all of you. Thank you for tuning in. I've been doing drag for almost 3 years now. Outside of drag, my name is Christian. I am a teacher. I'm on my 4th year of teaching, so been doing drag and teaching around the same time. It's really helped keep me grounded and like give me that like creative artistic flair, and I'm really excited to be here to talk to all of you today.
Well, thank you again. And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Felicia Puspus, who is your reigning Miss Gay Harrisburg America 2024.
Hello,
gorgeous.
hello.
Would you like to say hello to the viewers and tell them your full name, please, and a little bit about yourself?
Yes, Morgan. It's an honor to be here tonight. I am Julian Morales. I give you the illusion of Miss Felicia Puspus Ranjam. I'm your current Miss Gay Harrisburg America 2024. My full-time job is I am a male entertainer freelance. So I do independent third-party contracts and I perform as a male full-time. I've only been doing drag now for almost 5 months. So this has been a very, very quick indoctrination into this system in the whirlwind world that is drag, but it's just such an honor and pleasure to be here. And I just try to soak up every ounce of it that I can.
I love that. All right. Well, first off, give a snaps to everybody that's on the screen right now, because all of you are competing this year for Miss Gay Pennsylvania America 2024. And I'm couldn't be prouder with all of you that are competing for this year's title, because everyone brings such a unique style and everyone has been their authentic self this year, as I've been watching through all the different prelims. And so this is going to be by far an ultimate pageant. So I'm very excited. So tonight, what we're going to do is I wanted an opportunity for all of you and the viewers to join in and to continue to just dive in and talk about the America system, talk about what the pageant day is like and the different categories. I really want you to feel pumped, excited, and full of knowledge and ready to compete for that day. But first, I want to always mention that the day before, November 15th, we are doing the Formers Review Show, which is at Rivets, that is in Pottstown, and tickets are on sale now down below. You can check out MissGayPennsylvaniaAmerica.com. But with that being said, that's when we're going to also do the contestant drawing too. So it should be a fun evening for us all to kind of get geared up for the next day's events. So why don't we just dive in and talk a little bit about how it's going to look in the morning for you. So you're going to come in. Oh, because I'm such a great host, I totally don't have the schedule in front of me. But I know that you're going to come in for orientation at an earlier time this day because we're going to start the pageant a little earlier too. And when you come in orientation, you can be business casual and you don't necessarily have to wear what you're wearing for your personal interview. Some people do that. Some people wear their personal interview outfits. But the biggest thing about it is just being your authentic self, is what I always like to say. And with that being said, you don't want to be going over the top where it can be distracting, but you also want to give them you, right? So when you come into orientation, this is where you're going to finish up signing the paperwork. This is where you're going to get your dancer passes and all the passes that you're going to need. And this is also when Miss Gay America, Desi Love Blake, will be also going through the orientation checklist with you to make sure you're set up for the day. So that being said, and it's kind of how it was for your prelim, but then it's a little bit bigger because we have the head honcho, Miss Desi Love Blakes, this year. After that, you'll have a little bit of break, and then you're going to get into personal interview, and that's where we're going to now start talking a little bit about the details of that. So with personal interview this year, what they like to promote within the America system is that we want you to be your authentic self, especially with your wear as well. So you can go a little bit more feminine, or you can go a little more masculine, or you can go in between. But my biggest advice for you is to just don't go too wild, because they don't want to be the judges don't want to or shouldn't be distracted by your look as opposed to what you're saying, because this is your interview, right? How about I turn it over to you and see if you have any questions that maybe when you were in your personal interview, maybe you didn't fully get clarity on something, or maybe that you had a question about. Katrina, I don't want to put you on the spot, but since I brought you in first, can I, throw it at you?
Sure. The biggest question that I guess I would have, and it's for all of us as a whole, fitting the amount that we have into our bio and into our time frame. What is a good way? What did you do, Morgan, to kind of squeeze in your amazing illusion life, the boy self, the essence, and get it all into the time frame? Because we have so much to say. We want people to know who we are, but we only have an allotted amount of time.
That's an excellent question, Katrina. And you're right. It's only 7 minutes a lot of time for your personal interview, just like it was at the prelim, the city prelim. And so what I do is, me personally, and everyone has their own style, but what I like to do is I have my 3 to 4 bullet points of things that I definitely want to talk about. So if I want to talk about, like for me, it would be like charity, my nursing, or, my drag life. And so those are kind of like 3 that encompass it. But I also try and give a little bit of detail with that. And then this way, I kind of run the ship of like which way I want the conversation to go a little bit more. My other suggestion is that when you're answering the question, making sure that you're not going too fast so they don't hear what the answer was, because the judges will go down the line and ask you a series of questions, but don't go too fast that they can't hear your question, but don't go too long. So then they can get to other questions that maybe you can talk about other things. Or what I also would suggest as well is say that they ask you a question about what's your favorite fruit, and you say, I love strawberries, but also strawberries is red and I love the color red too. Well, you just threw it at them that you want to talk about the color red, and most likely the judges, who are well equipped to receive all your information, is going to ask you this type of questions too. So, and the biggest thing too is, and I always say this, make sure at the end of your interview, not necessarily have something rehearsed of what you want to say, because you want to speak from your heart, is how I always like to say it. But you want to make sure you're telling them something that's going to grasp them and to suck the air out of the room and really want them to want more from you. Because like I said, this is a job interview. This is your moment to apply to be Miss Gay Pennsylvania America. And there's a lot of things that go with that. The biggest thing is communicating with other people, because everyone's going to want to chat with you, or you're going to start helping out the promoters and new contestants for the next year. So you have to be really good at communicating and getting your points across. So yeah, I do have to say that. Are you always going to get into everything that you want to talk about? Not necessarily, but just as long as in that bio, you give them 3 to 4 chunks of the main things you want to talk about, and you can always veer off. So I like that. I'm going to just throw it at Felicia. Do you have any questions about personal interview?
I would say for me, my biggest question is just for you, kind of in line with what Katrina was saying. what is your mental process to self-eliminate what's important information for the bio and what is important bits that you can drop throughout that aren't necessarily needed in the bio, but good personal information that you want to get in there? How do you kind of filter that for yourself as to like, what are my top 3 versus the next 5 that I'm going to shimmy somewhere out throughout the interview?
Sure. I think great question. Thank you, Felicia. I think the biggest thing is that you take a look at what the job is. It's Miss Gay Pennsylvania America. And you have to also think about what that job title entails, which does talk about it in the handbook. And that I kind of base myself off of is what are my points going to be like, okay, well, oh, that point made sense. That's why you should be Miss Gay Pennsylvania, because it falls in line. Like, for example, if I talk about nursing, it's not just talking about nursing because I'm a nurse and I'm so proud of it, but I talk about it because it has components to it. I'm good at time management. I'm good with people. I'm good with communicating and getting and educating people. So it kind of, that's why I would pick something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean, but you can also be fun and show your fun side too, and talk about something that you love, because that's just who you are, right?
Yeah.
So I know it's hard because and like Katrina says, there's so much information that you want to jam pack in 7 minutes, but always find those gems that what you feel personally makes a good Miss Gay Pennsylvania America.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope I answered that a little bit.
No, you absolutely did. That was a wonderful answer.
Oh, thank you. And I'm your contestant number 15. Okay. So, and the reason why I'm bopping around, because I want to make sure we get to a bunch of stuff today. So we're going to kind of move forward. So a couple other things too, that I see, and I'm horrible at it too. Hands, just be mindful of your hands. And also when have people ask you questions, random questions or pageant questions that you can try and answer without saying the ums and the likes and things like that. Because I'm not great at that either, and I'm working very hard. That's one of my work in progress. So the hands is going to be a very the last time I was doing mine, I was kind of really almost sitting on my hands because I was really trying to be cognizant of it. So when you walk in, just make sure you're shining and just showing them your personality as you're walking over to the judges' table. And, it's just like the prelim. The judges will be sitting together, and then you'll be sitting in front of them in the chair, and it'll be a little bit more comfortable. And it's going to be a very quiet room. It's a room all by itself within this fabulous event space, which is Sunnybrook Ballroom in Pottstown. You can get tickets down. You can check down below if you want to get tickets for it. But make sure when you sit, the head judge will instruct you to sit down. But the biggest thing is, if you're wearing a suit jacket, make sure as you're walking, try and start to unbutton it a little bit more. So when they say, okay, sit down, you're not just standing there getting undressed and then you sit down. Does that make sense? That's another key that I was seeing a lot this year. And yeah, so take that. And then, like I said, my biggest thing is just making sure that your attire is well put together, because this is a job interview. Right? You want to make sure that you're looking the part. All right. Is there any other burning questions about personal interview that I can answer? Jayla, go ahead.
I know from my last year experience competing last year with you, when it comes to interview, it felt like you had like that burst of energy. Like, you're like, oh my God, it's happening. Holy cow. How do you know how to calm down? That makes sense. Like this.
I get what you're saying. I hope I didn't cut you off. I think that's a really good question, because you have to amp yourself up, right? You have to get yourself like in the zone, right?
Yeah, because I know that from last year, like it was my first time in this Pennsylvania America system. It really hit me like, holy cow. I was at the time Miss Gay Gettysburg first alternate. I was like, oh wow, I gotta shine that through. I gotta do it. And next you know, hi, how are you? Wonderful weather. And then you had ooh, let me calm it down.
Yeah.
Take it down some notches.
Sure.
Ways that you have an advice on how to calm it down for the new upcomers that are coming into this pageant system?
Well, the biggest thing that I'm hearing from you is that you already have an awareness that this is something that is a characteristic of your interview thing, right? So you personally are going to be aware of that before you walk through the door. So I think you probably have already learned now from your past experience of what maybe worked and didn't work during that personal interview. And you're talking, I get what you're saying. You're coming in hot, right? So what I would do is, and this is what I do for any category, I take 3 deep breaths. And I always tell myself, trust in yourself. And I do that every time. Or I look at my team and they give me that support that, yeah, I can get amped up, but I also know I gotta be focused.
I just saw in the chat actually somebody said about their team and their dresser to calm you down. If you have that, that has helped me greatly in the past. Having your closest friend, having someone close to you, working with them. Definitely.
But I know definitely within that little box frame, it's not even the dresser going to be there. It's going to be you, Morgan, and this Miss Gay America.
Yep.
It's that little box, that one moment, and before you even hit the doors of the interview process.
I get it. And then, and now I know I got to be cognizant of that. And I will make sure you take those deep breaths before you go in there. And I usually try to do that as much and just make sure that I ask, and I will be, how do you feel, and all that stuff. And just remember, it's okay to have that little extra burst of personality. That's who you are. Because the worst thing I could tell you is be something that you're not. So I hear what you're saying. Don't come in super hot at first, maybe, but be yourself. If that's your bubbly personality, that's who you are. And, it's not about, are you the right fit for Miss Gay Pennsylvania? Is Miss Gay Pennsylvania the right fit for you?
Of course.
Right? So, but that's good questions. Zemar, I don't want to leave you out. Can you ask a question with personal interview?
I would love to. I'm so glad you asked.
Perfect.
I think I would want to know, because I'm so new to like doing personal interviews and things like that. So getting an idea of like what it's like was very nerve-wracking. So I'd love to hear maybe like, what's your favorite question that you've gotten doing a personal interview, or like the most shocking question, either or, whatever you're leaning towards most. But I'd love to hear an example question that maybe.
I'll tell you 2 gems of a question to be mindful of. How's that sound?
Love
And
it.
don't tell anybody else I'm telling you this, okay? So sometimes the judges might like to spice it up, and they may say to you, tell us a joke.
I like that. I've got my dad jokes ready to go.
And that's great. And then, but the ones that don't have to, just have a little something in their pocket, but, and then my other one that I love because it's so, you can go so far with it and you can talk about different things, is they say, imagine there's a box next to you. What's in that box and why? It's a good question, because you can go as simple, but it means something strong, or you can have something a little more intricate that has a different meaning to it. So, excuse me for 1 second. Let me there we go. Sorry, someone was beeping in. So does that kind of help with some of that?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
On that real quick, that was my interview question.
Which one?
The dad joke.
It's a good one.
Triggered me so bad.
I had
no dad jokes ready. No dad jokes.
But now you know. And you know what? Don't tell anybody else I told you the top secrets, okay?
And this is why you have to join the live.
Hello. All right, so let's move forward, and we're not going to do presentation, because presentation is not a category being scored, but also for Pennsylvania this year, we will not have the contestants walking out, which is great, because the first category is to be judged is gown. So this gives you more time to get into your beautiful gowns, making sure everything's perfect and cohesive. And it gives you that opportunity to just take that deep breath. You don't have to feel rushed to get into your gown. So we'll talk about evening gown then first. And just remember, evening gown has 4 subcategories. It is a percentage scoring system, right, this year. So that's why it's very important to try not to lose any points in any category. And that's kind of like, and that make sure you go through the handbook of the different categories. It does break down a bunch, but I do want to try and highlight as many as I can tonight for you. The biggest thing is for me is suitability for the gown and just making sure that it fits you properly. And what I mean by that is no bunching in certain areas. Don't be too long. Don't be too short, right? You just want that perfect kiss on the ground. I think it can be a half an inch off the ground as well. But anything lower than just hitting that floor, one, it can be a distraction. Two, you can put yourself at risk for tripping, right? So making sure that suitability just fits you, that perfect body that you got. I always like to talk about making sure that the hair matches, the jewelry matches the gown. Make it tell that story, make it cohesive, make it make sense, right? You don't want to just have a random color and it be not matching everything else. Where are we at? We have the modeling. This is my trouble spot, but the modeling is important, and we will definitely go over an orientation, but just making sure you're being mindful that there are 3 points. It's called the upside down triangle that you have to hit first before it opens up your form to do your thing, right? But when you come out, you have about 1.5 minutes to do your model walk, and you'll come out, and as soon as you start walking, that's when you're going to start being scored. The dresser will be able to fix you right before, when you get up on the stage and right before you start walking out. I think the good thing about this year is our stage is that our backstage is right there, so you don't have to go up and down a step and all that to be able to come out on. So with that being said, you'll start with the back point. Do a pose, maybe do a turnaround pose. It's completely up to you at that point. But then you have to hit one of the other top 2 and go to the other one. And then after it, it's kind of up to you what you want to do. My only suggestion is don't run around the whole stage. That can be very distracting. And it looks like it just doesn't make sense. But also, if you take your time and you really give it to them at those 3 poses, after you're done that third pose, and if you start making yourself the way around to that center back again, they should already be saying, thank you, that's your contestant, Morgan.
Yeah.
And then you just give them that big smile and that personality. Other big things that I've noticed that you just want to make sure you don't have any rips or tears in your gown. You want to make sure that with the shoe, it's very important to make sure you wear something that's comfortable for you too, so you're not stumbling around on the shoe. I can definitely say that's from experience from myself. And just making sure, another big thing is just making sure your hair is done properly, making sure that there's no crazy hairs flying out everywhere, make sure everything's pinned down and sprayed down, and that's what your dresser can help you with prior. Okay. All right, let me just throw it over to all of you and see if you have any questions. Jayla, I'm going to pick you first this time.
Oh, me?
A little you, oh yeah.
Okay. Honestly, you did just pull up all the points, but how do you keep your teeth like just how you smile and you're doing this thing like you're like, okay, now my teeth, now my smile is shaking right now because it's getting too tired.
Okay.
1 minute and 30 seconds.
How do I
like, oh shoot.
I just naturally smile 24/7, so the muscles are just there, honey. No, just so when you're modeling, it's okay to, when you turn and you properly pose and show the back side of your gown, take that second to just unlock. But before you turn, make sure you remind yourself to smile again before you turn, not as you're turning. But it's okay to take a breather. And sometimes it's okay to get into a pose and give them a little, cutesy look. It's okay to stop smiling for a second and give them a little, I don't want to even say smirk because it's not a smirk. Can I say give them a little pose? I go,
yes, little smiles.
But yeah, just, you don't, yes, I get what you're saying. They want you to see that smile, right? But there's other different ways to smile. Just practicing it. Practice makes perfect.
Of course.
All right, Puss, since I called on you.
My question is for you, how do you rehearse your posing and your walking as someone who's a dancer? How do you navigate what is too much and what is too little? in terms of like what's distracting and like what is, just enough essence.
Sure. The biggest thing is, well, when I'm trying to rehearse my walk, I will make sure, obviously, I'm wearing the full guiche, the whole body, dress,
Yeah.
shoes, maybe not the gown and the jewelry because, but I will make sure I mark out my spots appropriately. But you're not going to be able to know the full distance until you see it the day of,
Yeah.
as far as like the length, but you can get the gist of like how you've seen it before. It's going to be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But I would pick a song because we're gonna send all the contestants the song for the actual walk.
Wonderful.
So we're gonna get to that, which is I just jotted that down on my mental note. But so then what you would do is until then you can either play a song for a minute and a half and just kind of something that makes you feel confident because you worked hard to put this beautiful dress on and paint your face and put the hair on, and this is your moment to feel beautiful.
Yeah.
Outside and in. So if you're just doing that, it doesn't necessarily, you probably wouldn't do it too much or too little because you're just doing you, right?
Yeah.
The biggest things that I always say is you can't raise your hands above your shoulders. Okay. And I wouldn't just lock your hands at your side. Try and find a little bit in between. You can definitely go on YouTube and watch former Miss Gay America's walk.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely many different styles, but the biggest thing and always the take home is making sure you're doing you. Be your authentic self. Feel yourself because you're selling the garment, right? And yourself too, in a sense. So like I said, I will be sending out to the contestants the minute and a half song that we'll be having everyone walk to. And then at that point, that's when you can start practicing the music and feel the vibe out. So, and I'll make sure we do it actually ASAP then.
Wonderful. That sounds great. Thank you. That was super duper helpful.
All right. Ziamara, do you have any questions for me or for anyone?
This question is coming from like those little that head in the back of the voice. It's like something will go wrong, and so I want to know if you've ever had like a mishap, like a gown mishap, like last minute, or if you've seen someone that's had like a last minute mishap, and like what you do in that moment to try to like not show it, or maybe
Sure.
how to best approach that
So for me, what's interesting is when I did the last walk I just did, when you walk on your dress, sometimes you hear that crunch, crunch, crunch with the heel hitting it. And I was hearing it and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine what it looks like right now. Like it could have, but what's interesting is I just kept going and trying to lightly adjust myself slowly. And no one even noticed anything. It was just all in my head because I just was hearing the crunching and I was getting very upset within myself, thinking I was completely bombing it. As far as mishaps, as far as like, say, if like, are you saying like, if like something like pops off or like,
like something like maybe like a stone falls off or like an earring or I don't know. Yeah, I guess something falling.
You know what? Honestly, anything. If it was say an earring, do not pick it up. Just keep on going, honey. We'll make sure that earring gets picked up and put back at your station. Just keep doing your thing. And you know what? If anything, if something were to happen, pull that smile from inside that you're just laughing at yourself that something happened, as opposed to looking scared and upset that something happened. Because it's okay. Because nothing has to always be perfect. It's just how you present it. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure everyone's going to look perfectly crisp and put together, so we don't have to worry about that.
I mean, it's Pennsylvania, of course.
It is Pennsylvania.
I remember that.
What?
I literally remember I had a fabulous evening gown. You saw it at New Hope, evening gown one. It was not tailored because I thought I can do it with a higher heel, and then realized, holy cow, this is not gonna work. This ain't gonna work at all. So I had to pull a backup dress. Number one, always have a backup dress if you know prior to it, like, oh shoot, it ain't gonna work out. That's my advice on that idea too.
That's very good advice, Jayla. If you're able to, bring a backup dress just in case. And if not, that's okay too. Just making sure that, as we talked with Felicia, practice before, right?
Mhm.
So if you're practicing the walk before with the music, then you'll be able to see if there's any opportunity for mishaps as well. All right. Miss Katrina, you've been so quiet over there. Do you have any questions for me?
So this is kind of more or less a lead-in. I noticed this in the organization of the state pageant. It's separate from the city. We don't go right into on-stage question, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we just model and then we go off completely.
Correct. And they will obviously bid you adieu off the stage. And then, so to go into that, so how we will end the pageant would be the final category, which is the top 5 will be asked the on-stage questions. And I believe as of right now, it will be 5 questions that you will pull a card from. As opposed to like with nationals, they have just 1 question. Because we don't have a place of seclusion where the other contestants can't really hear it. So yes, so once you're done doing that fierce walk and really sell the garment, you'll go off to the side back into the changing area and then get ready for talent. Okay, good question. I love that. Do you have any other burning questions with gown as of right now? I'm trying to give as much as I can in a short period of time. So I'm hoping that I'm covering some good stuff with you all. So talent, the most fun, right? Though some people say they love gown. I get a little nervous with gown. So this is why I love talent so much. But this is your time to shine. Everyone knows how to perform. It's just a matter of just being, and I say it a lot, be your authentic self on that stage. Don't be what you think America wants. Be what America wants. Right? So let's go through a couple of the categories real quick, and then I'm just going to throw it out at everybody else, just in case there's any burning questions, especially even if it's just as simple as the stage dimension. Don't ask that because I don't know the answer. I think it's been sent to you already, I think. So, all right. So the biggest thing is with the subcategories, one of them is showmanship. And this is where I go back to saying, are you being your authentic self? Are you giving something? Are you giving a production? Are you just giving just a number, right? And there's definitely a little bit of a difference to that. If you have props, does it make sense? If I would not suggest putting staging or props if it's not related to your number, as well as if you're not even going to use it, because then what's the point of it being there? And then my key with that is if it's there and something bad happened with it and you didn't even need it, you could lose points. And the name of the game is to not lose points. Choreography, if you have dancers, making sure that they're not outshining you and making sure you're keeping up with them, right? And just making sure that rehearsing and practicing is key. And you know, I'm not a choreo girl, but I seem to be doing it every time. But it's because it's something that I try to raise the bar for myself. That's my own personal goal within myself. I'm definitely not a singer, so that's off the table. So with that being said too, if you're singing a song, that's great too, because you know there are people out there that have way better voices than me. But the thing is that making sure that when you're singing, you're doing it with a purpose. Maybe take a step forward, maybe move the arm appropriately. So it doesn't have to be a dance number singing, but you get the point. Lip syncing, making sure you know your words. I know a pet peeve of some judges is that if there's background vocals, making sure that if there's dancers there and it's appropriate for them to be singing the background vocals, making sure they're doing that as well. It's just a pet peeve. I don't know if they take points off for that, but I just know it's a peeve. If you're singing live, obviously you're going to know your words, right? So good for them, not me. And are you being original? And I always go back to, are you being your authentic self? Making sure you're just shining and smiling and engaging with all the judges. I always make it a point to make sure I give an eye to the judges throughout my production or my number, just to make sure that I'm engaging with them. But it's also okay to engage with the audience as well too. All right. I believe it's a 6 minute. I know it's a 6 minute number, and so you'll be submitting that with your applications, which I think is due at the end of the month. I think it's the 29th.
Yep.
So make sure you do those, and that's when you'll submit your track as well. There's no videography, so it's just you doing your thing with your props and stuff. So why don't we, Katrina, I'm going to start with you, and we'll just go through how I brought you on, if that's okay. And we'll just go through some questions. And this is time. We still have a little bit of time, so this is the time that we can go around a couple times if we want.
So my biggest question is actually for you. Did you feel like the preparation to win or the preparation to reign was harder for you as a Miss Gay Pennsylvania? And in general, what's advice for both reigning and winning? Just one bullet point from each of those.
So for me, for last year's pageant for Miss Gay Pennsylvania 2023, my biggest thing is that I wanted to make sure that I, one, knew the tools to be Miss Gay Pennsylvania, and that's when I divulged that more so in my personal interview, and I really tried to craft communicating that to the judges in that moment. So that's the opportunity to be able to focus on the reigning piece of it. When it came to the talent portion, I made sure that, in my mind, I wanted to make sure I was just upping my level in a sense. But something that I actually learned is that sometimes too much might be too much, right? And sometimes adding everything in the kitchen sink is not necessarily going to help you out in the long run. And definitely this year was the year that I was more focused on making sure I was trying to like polish. I think because I had such a great exposure with my Nurse Morgan talent, going from first alternate my first year from Pennsylvania to hitting top 5 nationally, I felt like I needed to do more. But I realized this year is that I need to go back to who I am and what my qualities are and showcase myself. And I think by being humbled by that shows that I am ready to reign, because I'm able to just kind of like hone it back down and focus on what's really important in the long run. So I kind of think I answered that. Just be your authentic self, period. Who came in? Jayla, do you have any questions about talent?
Actually, hang on. Yes. When it comes to your package, what was the most exciting, thrilling moment you had when you from last year? Because I felt like everything was busy, and at that moment, like, what was that one little moment you felt like you could be truly yourself, who you are? It just made you feel like, you know what?
Are you talking about my talent or just in general?
Just your talent.
So actually with my talent, what I love is that I had a really great support system around me, and it is very important to remember that you always have your people there or your person there, because those nerves kind of can go away when you're just kind of within that camaraderie of the moment. I was lucky because I have dancers that are so supportive of me, as much as I give them the support that they deserve as well. So before we would ever go on, we do a little huddle and a little moment that kind of just releases some of that stress. So that gives me an opportunity to allow me to have a good time. And they check me about it too, to keep myself grounded and just have a good time with it, because we already know what we're doing. But last year, I felt once I was in top five last year, the second day,
Yeah.
I knew that I needed to put socks in my shoes so then I wouldn't be wobbling around. And once I did that, I went all out and I just had fun with it, because I already knew the dance moves and I already did this once, and I was ready to just have a good time with it and show my personality. And the take home with that is just remembering that the more fun you're having, the more fun the judges are having. But if you're thinking about stuff and it looks like you're thinking, and I am guilty of it too, if you're thinking about it, they're going to be like, what are they thinking about? Instead of watching this fun production of what you're putting on the stage. All right. That's a good question though. ZMR, were you next coming in?
Yes, I was. You've already answered so many of the questions that I had about talent.
Well, I love that you all have all these questions too, which is nice.
Yes. So I wanted to know, I guess, is there a talent number that you've seen that maybe like inspired you, or like has maybe like helped motivate you, like, I don't know, or helped build like your perspective of like creating a talent number today?
You know, she's gonna kick my butt, but I have to say, your reigning Miss Gay Maryland America this year, Miss Divinity Cruz,
Mm.
really wowed me. And what I mean by that is she stayed very true to who she is authentically,
Mhm.
and she knew the skill sets that she had to put on that stage to be flawless. And what I mean by flawless is not going outside the box too much and keeping it contained, but also telling a story, having fun with it, and engaging. And just with her talent, and I didn't get to see it live, which I was really upset because, it was really good. And what I loved about it, it was the build up and the fun. And I wanted more and I wanted it more. So I feel like just knowing that when you are putting something together, don't give them the everything up front, but also remember, don't go so slow, and at the end you give them big. You got to kind of do like a progression thing, and that's something I did take from that number. Good question.
Mhm.
And I don't sing, so that also is impressive to me, and I will never sing. So, all right, Miss Felicia.
I think my question, and this isn't even so much a question as much asking your opinion. When it comes to talent, people do so many different things, and I've seen, full blown Broadway numbers in 6 minutes where, there is costume changes and the drops and shoe changes and all the things. And I've also, my winning talent from Harrisburg was a solo talent where I am a dancer, I am a singer, I'm a musical theater girly first. So that's what I feel comfortable doing.
Mhm.
My question to you is, do you think that judges value and recognize when people are doing a solo talent or something that's more dumbed down where the natural talent is showing, or do you think people get more points for the production and the glitz of it?
That's an excellent question. Thank you for asking that. I think that first and foremost, and you said it just at your last sentence, will you lose points, right? Or will they gain more points? The thing is that the more you put into your talent is putting you at risk for losing points. But I'm not saying don't put things in your talent. Just make sure it makes sense.
Mhm.
Obviously, when you're dancing as a solo, they're solely focused on you. So you
Mhm.
just have to make sure that what you're doing is clean.
Mhm.
I like to always say, tell that story a little bit more. Give them an understanding of why you're doing what you're doing.
Mhm.
When you're adding dancers or props and things like that, it's just important to just be attentive to the details of it and just making sure that just because you have a big Broadway production doesn't mean you can't lose a lot of points. Because what happens if a dancer falls, or say my prop piece falls, or my big coffee mug broke in midair? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's just making sure that you find what's best for you to make
Mhm.
sure that you're showcasing yourself, because you don't want other people outshining you,
Mhm.
but also like you want people to compliment you.
Yeah.
But the biggest take home in any category is it's not about it is about always having the gaining of the points and getting the most amount. But I always like to look at it as trying not to lose a point.
Mhm. Mhm.
So knowing what it says in the handbook, looking at the different categories, and kind of just envisioning of what your package wants to look like,
Mhm.
and then going from there. But you don't have to have a big Broadway production
Mhm.
to win talent section,
Yeah.
right? A singer can get out on stage and belt it out beautifully with nobody else around you, and they
Mhm.
could get a perfect score, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Thank
a
you. That
great,
was super duper helpful.
that's an excellent question. So why don't I do this? Is there any other burning questions out there about talent? It's okay if there's not, because we've been chatting for a fabulous 50 minutes, and I didn't want to hold you too long.
But I have some question for everyone here.
Okay.
You ready? People's Choice is coming up because People's Choice Awards for Miss Gay Pennsylvania. And the charity system is going, $1 goes to the Miss Gay Pennsylvania Fund. Other dollar goes to the winner who wins who won Miss People's Choice Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Who are y'all sponsoring?
Like, so what you're asking is who do who are they planning on possibly donating their money to for charity?
Oh yeah.
So let's just go back real quick because it's a very great topic because it's something different here for Pennsylvania that we're doing the viewer's choice. And you can check it out also on MissGayPennsylvaniaAmerica.com. And all the contestants are listed there. And there's donations that what will happen is whoever the top viewer's choice winner, who obviously I believe would have the most, half of it goes to Miss Gay Pennsylvania pageant system, and the other half will go to the contestant to donate to their charity of choice. So I think it's super special because one, you're helping the Sisterhood of Pennsylvania out for future contestants as well as developing the system, but then also you get to help a charity as well, which I think is pretty special. So, and I don't know. Not all contestants may not know what charity they want to do now, but if you do know and you want to chat about it live, that's fabulous too. So I'll put it over to you all. And you can also say I'm not sure yet.
So I'll start. I'll be honest. So I'd be remiss if I didn't speak about this. This past summer, I was queen for the Woods Camping Resort, and in doing so, every weekend we had to focus on charity. So every weekend was really a different charity based on a different group: leather community, bears community, drag community. So I have like 4 that I'm toying with at the moment of which to do. If anybody seriously doesn't have a charity and they're not sure, I can certainly point you in the right direction because I've worked with amazing people this summer who have gone above and beyond, not just with monetary donation, but socks for the homeless, things like that. So if anybody honestly doesn't have an idea or is kind of questioning, well, where do I go? I know a lot of people go towards the Trevor Project because it's a well known, but there are so many local charities as well that are, of course, so happy. I worked with the Eastern PA Trans Equity Project as well, and we did Broadway numbers for them. So, and they're local, so it's Eastern PA. So there's a world out there of charity. So it's just kind of reaching out and finding what's the best fit for you. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure what my fit is yet. So, because there are so many, but just kind of want to throw that out there too.
Sure. And I love that. Yeah. All right, Jayla, you're up.
Well, my project, I was going to go 2 sides adoption, but deep down my soul, as an Attic alumni, I'm thinking of the Attic Youth Center, which is one of the local LGBTQ youth centers in Philadelphia. They're always evolving with resources and services, and always combating with making sure that the next generation of gay, trans, LGBTQIA plus excellence keeps going forward with advocacy, resources, and services. Literally, the programs they have are amazing, and I love them with all my heart. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to chip in and forward and make sure that if I do win, I make sure their voices are heard, and also the funding goes to a community that's uplifting the community.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, you two. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but if you'd love to talk about a charity that you're interested in.
I can go next. I have selected mine. I'm going to be pairing with the Food Allergy Research and Education Foundation. For those of you who do not know, when I was 6 months old, I was diagnosed with over 70 food allergies. I have a disease of my esophagus that correlates with that. It's called eosinophilic esophagitis. And if you don't know, like, severe food allergies wasn't really a thing up until like the late 90s, early 2000s. So there's very, very low research and very, very low funding for trying to find a cure or any sort of medication that can help aid people like me who suffer from this daily, who have to eat very, very selective diets at not their choice. So they're really, really great at innovative care and trying to progressively work towards finding some sort of medication. There probably will never be a cure, but the goal is to be able to help people like me to just be able to hopefully be able to eat some more things. That way they can live a more healthier life more naturally.
Are you allergic to chocolate?
I am not allergic to chocolate, but if it has dairy in it, I can't have it. So
Well,
that you know, that dark chocolate, it's my friend.
okay.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, Ziamara.
Yes,
I'm gonna
I
throw it over
love
to you, my love.
what y'all have been saying so far. I do not have one pinpointed down yet, but I definitely would love to like continue to like focus on my love for education, hopefully trying to find a charity that can help support and like uplift Black and brown students in their educational journeys, going to college and things like that. That's definitely where my mind's at right now for this.
Absolutely. I think you kind of have a good idea of what you want to do, and I think that's absolutely fabulous. So listen, I don't want to run over too much for the four of you because time is important. I'm sure you have rhinestoning and hair to do and talents to choreograph. But I just want to just touch upon real quick the onstage interview real quick, okay? So, and it's as simple as we just talked about. I just want to follow back around. Is that it's going to be for the top 5, and then should you be announced top 5, I believe it just goes in contestant order of like how it would be like first, second, third, but like you get the idea. Like so, it'd be like 2, whatever. So when you come out, the MC will have you have an opportunity. I couldn't get that out. Sorry, to introduce yourself again to the audience, and this is where you give that 30 seconds of yourself again. So make sure you have something a little bit more prepared of what you want to say. That's not scored, but it's also important just to be able to communicate to the audience because they've been watching you all night and rooting all of you on. With that being said, you'll get the question. And I always, and this is just a take home. We don't necessarily need to go around with questions unless you have a burning question. But when the proctor or MC, you pull the question, they read you the question, they will read it twice, and they will hand you the card. Even if you already know the answer, which sometimes your gut instinct answer is the right answer. Just remember that. Don't try and go away from what you first felt, right? Even if you know that answer, just look at the card and look through it and just take a deep breath. You don't have to jump right into it. All right. You can take a breather. Don't take 5 minutes because then I'm ready to go. You know, no, I'll just get, no, actually I don't want to go because I'm going to hold on to that crown, but take a second, pause yourself. Remember that's those deep breaths I talk about every category to check myself before I go into it, to know that I've got this. I know what I'm doing. I know who I am, and I'm ready to present it to everybody. Okay. Well, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of you spending time tonight to be with me and being a part of something that I've created, which is Let's Get Down to Excellence, which is very important to me because I'm so passionate about the America system. I'm so passionate about uplifting all 14 of you contestants this year because I want nothing more than everyone to feel set up for success, and I want nothing more than everyone to walk away that they put their all and they felt like they did the best that they could this year. And no matter how the chips lie, I'm going to always be proud of you. And I'm excited to sit there and just watch everything. I don't have to do anything but watch and enjoy. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And I know you're going to tune in for the other contestants because they're in the next weeks to come. They are going to be also on live with me and asking more questions and me reiterating or talking about other new gems that may come up. So you might not want to miss that. So at this point, I'll say goodbye to each one. If you just want to say goodbye real quick too, that'd be lovely. And then I will wrap up. Does that sound okay, everybody? All right, Katrina, I brought you on first, so I'll bring you off first. I want you to say goodbye to everybody, and I'm going to bid you adieu.
Thank you, Morgan, and thanks everyone for joining. It's amazing. See you on the November 16th already. It's right around the corner.
That's right. All right, love. Thank you so much. I can't remember who was next. I think it was Jayla Rosemore. Thank you, Jayla, for joining us tonight with all your great questions, too, and I appreciate all your time. Do you want to just say goodbye to everybody?
Of course. Thank y'all so much, Morgan, our Miss Gay Pennsylvania soon to be Miss Gay Pennsylvania 2024.
Yep.
And I can't wait to see you with your step down and also see the next one that steps up in your reign of some excellence.
Thank you.
And well, that's it. Have a blast, and I'll see y'all in November.
All right, my love. We'll see you soon. All right. I think Ziamara, were you next?
Yes, yes.
All right. Why don't you say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see you in November as well.
Yes, thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But no, actually, don't forget to check out the MissGayPennsylvaniaAmerica.com page. Make sure to get those tickets. Thank you so much, Morgan, for having me. This was so, so nice. I had a wonderful time. And thank you all for joining in. I will see you in November.
Thank you, my love. It was an honor and a pleasure as well. I'll see you soon. Once again, last and certainly not least, thank you, Felicia, for coming in tonight as well and asking great questions and just giving a little bit more about yourself. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about your charity as well moving forward, because it sounds very interesting. If you want to just say goodbye to everyone, and I'll bid you adieu as well.
Yes, thank you everyone so much for tuning in and watching the episode tonight. Thank you so much, Morgan, for having me. Everyone, make sure you get those tickets to come see us in November. A ticket link is below, and make sure you vote for People's Choice. If you want more Miss Felicia, you can follow me at Miss Poos Poos Rondajam on Instagram. And until then, I'll see you in November.
All right, love. Thank you so much for joining tonight. It was a pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much, Morgan. Bye.
All right. Well, that's that, everyone. That is our first 4 contestants of 14 contestants that will be vying for the title of Miss Gay Pennsylvania America 2024. Please look out for the flyers for our next round of 4 contestants who will be interviewed. I believe it will be next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. as well. So definitely check us out. I cannot wait to see you soon. And make sure you get those tickets. Check out the link below at www.missgaypennsylvaniaamerica.com, where you get tickets for the Formers Review Show, which is on November 15th. You can also get tickets for the big event, which we have more tickets available, and for the big night on November 16th, as well as when you go on, you can also do the viewer's choice as well. So support the contestants as well as one of the future charities that they'll be supporting. Thank you everyone again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you soon.